y'all, Farmer Dre back at it. Folks, we are out here in the high density today. I am with Isaac and we started pruning our high density apples. So let's go ahead and get after it. Alrighty, so we started pruning yesterday. Well, Isaac started pruning. I just been out and about trying to figure some other things out. But we started pruning, and one thing to mention on these trees, we did get frosted out 2023 season. So these trees didn't have a crop on them. So they grew very, very, very vigorously, a lot more vigorously than what we like to see in the normal year. But hey, that is part of growing fruit in Southwest Missouri. Some years you have an amazing crop, some years you don't get frosted out. So we are pruning a lot of big, thick stuff out of our trees. We have to get it out just because if not, it's going to cause issues later on. But the trees that we're pruning today are 4 or 5 years old by now. So they're growing nice and healthy trees. So we are at trees here. These are the high density. They're way past the top bar. That's what we want to see there. We can't reach too high, but ideally, Isaac wanted to prune those 3 ones right there. That one, and that one. Cut those out. We don't want any more energy going to the top. But the issue is that we didn't have a crop last year. These Fuji's have grown. So you have big, thick branches like this one, this one. So we're pulling out 3 to 4, maybe 5, 6 of the really thick ones that don't need to be there. They're taking up way too much space. They took up all the nutrients from last year. And of course, we didn't have a crop to slow down these trees. So it's a fun time whenever you have to prune out a bunch of branch, because you know that this is all your fertilizer and all this thing that went into growing these trees in previous years. It's gone to growing wood instead of apples. But hey, it's part of it. But the biggest goal here is we are pulling out the big, thick branches. So anything that is, these diameters are probably, I don't know, that big around. So anything that's over 1 inch thick, I'll consider it's a big branch. So ideally in a high density tree, you would want, like this one we just pruned here, you want a tree that has a lot of small, thin, flexible branches, because these branches will not grow too big and they'll produce the highest quality fruit. So any branch that's nice and small, you want to leave on the tree. Anything that's way too thick, you pull it out. Once you cut them, I'll show you guys what a Dutch or a stub. So you want to leave a stub, and that's what happens when you leave a stub right there. You get 2, maybe sometimes 3 tiny branches, maybe a foot long out of a stub. So that's why you want to leave a stub there, and the trees will produce a nice small soft branch, and eventually they'll put on some fruit. So you don't want big thick branches in a high density system, because it pulls out your energy and it doesn't allow you to fruit them. So since, like I mentioned, since we didn't have a crop, these trees have grown a lot of wood. So we're spending a lot more time pruning these, but we have to get it done. If not, the trees will get out of control. So these are on a Geneva 41 rootstock. So they're supposed to be a dwarf tree, but if you don't have a crop on them, they'll still grow a lot of wood because all the energy and nutrients. So we're just trying to clean them up and get them going. For example, if you look at this branch here, this branch is so thick. This branch off here, the leader is almost as tall as our leader. So this thing's gonna do no good to us. So look at that. It's already it's a 3 foot tall branch. And that's never going to do any good, because it's just going to continue to grow wood, and you cannot pull it back. You can't pull it down. It's not flexible, so you can't pull it down. So whenever we do fruit it, it's got to be dragging down so you can slow the growth of the wood down. So it seems like we're pulling a lot out of these trees, but I'd rather pull a lot in the winter months than have to suffer in the summer months. And like I said, in the ideal world, you don't want to do this, because then we're going to have a lot of vigorous growth coming out of all these cuts. A lot of vigorous growth, so we got to watch out for that, and especially when it comes to fire bite and whatnot. We've got to stay on the spraying program. But what are you going to do whenever you don't have a fruit crop? You just got to let it go and try better for next year. A big thick tree looks a whole lot better now. Even though there's not as many branches, I like to see more filling right here, but we'll get a bunch of filling out of these cuts. The only issue is these cuts won't produce the fruit until 2025, so that's one of the downsides. But I'd rather wait another year of not producing than having to deal with these thick branches the entirety of this next coming season. And eventually we're gonna have to prune them out anyways in 2024 or in 2025 in this winter. So it's just part of it. We do have a little bit of mortality of trees here and there that didn't catch on or have some issues. But and then fire blight, we this past season we had a pretty devastating issue. It was bad, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was doable. It rained a lot during bloom, and I couldn't get the sprays on the bloom, so just part of it. But Isaac will continue to prune on here, and I'm going to tell him what and not to do. He's already an expert. Look at that. He's already a pro when it comes to pruning. Goes quick, nice and easy, pedestrian friendly. That's why we like the high density so much. Prune everything from the bottom, and makes it really nice. So we got a sad example here, but a perfect example, a real world example of what happens on these high density apples. So over here, the leader of the tree got fired by. So this whole thing here is dead, and we do not want that in there. So we're going to choose a whole new leader. So I just gonna go ahead and cut it out. So this whole top of the tree, I got to pull off this clip here, is going to be bye-bye. We don't want this to spread anymore. This is a perfect example of fire blight. The tree is dead. So now we're going to have to train. We're going back to step one of training a new tree. But at least the fire blight's out of the tree. We're going to put that there and discard of that before the trees start budding. So now we have a whole new leader there, which is really small. So what you want to do in this situation is Isaac's going to go ahead and pull off majority of all these branches so we don't have to compete with the leader. Just leave the small ones, but the rest of these big ones, cut them off. So then it's going to force all its energy of growing a straight leader all the way to the top, and then it'll grow the side branches. And the thing, ideally, if we come through here and hand thin, we don't want to leave too much fruit on this tree so we can get it back to a full-size tree. But this is a perfect example of what happens whenever you don't stay on top of your fire blight schedule. And thankfully, we don't have too much of that in here. But whenever you do completely get rid of that, start off with a whole new leader. It'll be a couple years before this tree starts producing. But at least you won't have any issue later on in your orchard. So it kind of sucks to have a 4-year-old tree to see that. But at least there's hope for the future. Alrighty, so we are now in the Jonna Gold, and these are 1 year older than those Fujis that we did. These trees have a lot more bud count. They've had a few crops on these ones, and they are a lot easier to prune, not as much thick wood like in those Fujis. So we're only pulling about 2 to 3 big branches off these and cleaning them up, and that's about it. So these are moving pretty quick. Hey, don't leave a stub on the bottom of that tree there.
Can't reach there, bud.
Don't leave a stub there. The stub is no good. These got to come out too. Look how thick these are. A lot of bud count on those, but it's okay. We got to pull these out. 1, 2, 3. We got to come through here and finish tying off the top of these trees. Alrighty, folks. So we are going to go ahead and continue out here in the orchard for a while. We got about 500 trees done today, so it goes fairly quick. We're going to go ahead and prune until dark. So between Isaac and I, we're going to go hopefully get done pruning for the season. I am super busy this time of year, traveling to different conferences and events. A lot of those events, I guess, called to speak on certain topics. Like I was in Arkansas last week, spoke onto blackberries, and of course, some more of our farm family operation here at Garner's Orchard. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here today. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and check out FarmerDreSupply.com. That's where you're able to find the most amazing hand pruners that we are pruning with. The Lowe's pruners, loppers, and hand pruners. Those are the best on the market. Go ahead and check them out. Link is down in the description box below. This is going to be it for today's video. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget, hit that notification icon so you guys can be notified whenever I do upload a video. I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you next time.